almost 240 new AI companies founded in the first half of last year. So that's the first 6 months of the previous years. That's a lot. One example for that is also the AI industry, where China really has a very long-term structured approach, which is also not secret, by the way. So I would not be surprised if Chinese AI is going to rise comparatively to how the automotive industry in China has been rising.
So you just touched on two main points actually, quite important, because what I've seen as well, so I'm from Mexico, right? So I'm from Puebla, I don't know if I told you this. So in Puebla we have one of the companies, big manufacturers, Volkswagen.
Okay.
Actually they were there. Same as Audi, and then they came some other companies. But now recently, BYD came to Mexico. Welcome everyone to one more beautiful day here in China. Today I have a very interesting guest because we're going to be talking about some things about HR related specific tools that people coming to China they can use. And also I'm very happy because you, Miriam, recently have been like diving into the topics of AI. So we're going to have a chance to speak about that and maybe some other questions. So I'm very happy to be today with Miriam. Miriam, how are you?
Very good, Antonio, and thank you for having me. So guys, if you don't know, my name is Miriam Wickertsheim. As you can hear from my accent, I'm originally from Germany. And I'm very excited to meet Antonio here today. The internet brought us together. So we've been in China, you've been in China for 10 years, I've been in China for 17 years.
We've
been
fast.
Connected, right? We've been connected on LinkedIn for a long time, and then we just connected on YouTube. And now from the online world to the offline world. So today we're here in Shanghai, meeting in real life.
Yeah, thank you very much for that, taking the time. Yeah, thank you for taking the time. Because, you know, like I was following also Miriam. She's actually, Miriam, you are the general manager of Direct HR, right? So that's your company. And so, yeah, they provide like HR solutions to different kinds of things. What can you tell us, please, a little bit about as an introduction?
Yeah,
how do you come to China? And maybe a little bit about your company, how you set it up at the beginning, and then how later we evolve into the China topics. So if you can start with that.
Yeah, I'd love that. So I came to China a very long time ago, about 17 years. I actually never really worked in Germany, so all of my work experience has been in China and related to China. I came to China, like most people, a little bit by happy accidents. So my mom actually cut out a newspaper article about studying Chinese, gave it to me, and I said, yes, why not? And fast forward, now I'm here since such a long time. I am working for a company called Direct HR. We are one of the largest German-speaking recruiting service providers. That means we are headhunters here in China, and we support international companies in China to find employees here. Before the pandemic, that was 95% Chinese and maybe 5% foreign nationals. Now, after the pandemic, it's about 99.9% Chinese and 0.1% foreigners. At the moment, you know, labor market dynamics has changed, and we are focusing on what we call the nerdy and dirty industries. So everything, heavy machinery, industrial manufacturing, including also robotics and AI.
Okay, that's great. So you are mainly now based in China, right? But I know your company also has some different offices in Thailand and Vietnam. Is that correct?
Yes, so we are also out of China. We are also supporting our clients. Most of our clients are Western clients coming into China, and now with the China Plus One strategy or the Asia Pacific expansion strategy going to other countries in Southeast Asia, and we're supporting them as well. Whereas in Southeast Asia, Thailand, Vietnam, we're doing more executive recruiting, so general manager, C-level, country manager. Whereas here in China, we start at head of department level, and then we go up to general manager, C-level.
That's great. And I'm like, for example, I've been here 10 years, and then you've been here like for some time more than me.
For some time, yeah.
So I'm sure you've probably seen like many transformations in many different sectors in China, right? So what would you say is one of the main transformations that probably you've seen now in China since you came at the very beginning of many years ago until now? Is there something that caught your mind? Like, you're like, wow, this sector is developing in this way, or these other sectors? Or what transformation have you seen through the years?
I mean, it's been such a long time. When I came to China, there was not really any social insurance to speak of, and now you have social insurance. there wasn't so much environmental protection back then. And now environmental protection is quite high, ranging from limitations on what companies can produce in dirty manufacturing, so chemical, for example, to sorting your trash. But the one thing that comes to mind, which is just mind-blowing, is the automotive industry. Whereas in the past you had all the automotive OEMs, Volkswagen, Porsche, all the foreign companies coming here, and by now, really, as I'm sure you know, automotive industry is in a transformative stage, and a lot of Chinese automotive OEMs, for example, BYD, most people know, are really taking over, and this has been directed and structured by long-term planning, investment, and very in point assertive choices and strategies by the government, and that is what we are seeing in other industries as well. For example of that, one example for that is also the AI industry, where China really has a very long-term structured approach, which is also not secret, by the way, so you can research it online, it's been debated online, you can deep seek it, you can ChatGPT it. You'll probably find it in English, maybe even in Spanish if you want to know more about it. So it's not a secret. But still, I feel many people are surprised, and there's a lot of planning, a lot of research, a lot of direction coming from the government into the AI industry. So I would not be surprised if Chinese AI is going to rise comparatively to how the automotive industry in China has been rising.
So you just touched on two main points, actually, quite important, because what I've seen as well, so I'm from Mexico, right? So I'm from Puebla, I don't know if I told you this. So in Puebla, we have one of the companies, big manufacturers, Volkswagen.
Okay.
Actually, they were there. Same as Audi, and then they came some other companies. But now recently, BYD came to Mexico, and I think they were like overpassing the number of cars that they were sending to any other country in the world, I think after Russia. So it was Russia, Mexico. So now I see a lot of people is like turning to see what's happening in China, especially because of this like automobile industry, right? All of these cars. So that's one thing, that I've seen also the big transformation in the industries that you say, and also in the AI. So in your field, for example, how have you seen the AI, or what specific tools are you using, or the HR industry are using to try to leverage somehow all of these new technologies that are coming?
That's a very broad question. Maybe let me start with the big picture. So what I think is really important to just realize is how explosive the AI industry has been growing in China. So to just give you a reference, there have been almost 240 new AI companies founded in the first half of last year. So that's the first 6 months of the previous years. That's a lot. And so that is a lot, but of course at the same time a lot of these companies are also not making it. However, that's normal. So if you look at normal startup companies, everybody who starts a company in whatever field, the failure rate is actually quite high. Usually we say very roughly 9 out of 10 companies will not make it. Depends a little bit on the sector and the industry and so on and so on. But usually the failure rate is quite high, so it's also to be expected that a lot of these AI companies that are being funded will not make it. But because it's such a volume, a lot of them will make it. It's just a numbers game, right? So we have a lot of companies which are already very well established. I think everybody knows the big players. So everybody knows Alibaba, everybody knows Baidu, everybody knows Tencent, Huawei, and so on. There's another big player. It's called SenseTime, which I think is if you're in the industry, everybody knows. If you're not in the industry, then your SenseTime is not so familiar. But it's a company who's doing basically computer vision, and so those are the big ones. And then you have. You know how China likes to give everything a beautiful name? So we have a very poetic name almost. So we have something called the Six Tigers.
Six Tigers?
Six Tigers. And Six Tigers are also 6 companies very specifically. So you have DeepSeek, of course, but you also have companies like Minimax. So that's a computer-facing app It's called Talkie, and what they do is they create like an avatar. An avatar like can be a movie star or a celebrity or an anime manga kind of person, and you have somewhere around 30 million people a day chatting with it. So that's quite significant.
Yeah.
You have companies like StepFund. Originally has been founded by a former VP, I think, of Microsoft. You have companies like Jipu AI or
Jipu, yeah.
Bytron. Bytron makes healthcare. Moonshot AI made a chatbot called KimiChat. Maybe
Kimi,
you know,
yeah.
it's in the education industry, right? So it's like
Yeah.
a long text chat program, I think, for teachers and students mostly.
Yeah.
Have you used it?
Yeah, actually, this Kimi,
Yeah,
right? So I
KimiChat,
think
yeah.
they came from Tsinghua University.
Yes, that's right.
And many of the universities are trying to leverage somehow like how they can take that knowledge and try to
Yes.
put it into the research, education for students. So we in our education field are actually doing also trying to leverage like this like the tools, because I know the traditional way of education in many other fields, maybe they were trying at the beginning to ban it or to prohibit or something. But here what we're doing, what I'm working, for example, is that we're trying to tell the students to use it, but we're always like trying to monitor how to use it, right? So for them to try to increase their cognitive level as well, not just to become like lazy or doing everything with the AI. So I was going to ask you, you mentioned the one that it's for the video, a video for the face, maybe not face recognition, but there's one app, I don't know if you heard about it, it's called HeyGen. I remember some time ago, I was just speaking, I was just filming myself, and then I make my voice.
Yeah.
So that one, after some time, I put the text, I just wrote it down, and then with the text, it's just generate my own avatar.
Yeah.
Right? So the
Okay,
avatar, it just came
okay.
like speaking with my lips, like in different languages.
Okay.
大家好，这里只是用人工智能测试我的花声。先
So I wonder if some people, for example, trying to to go through the process of HR, I know sometimes HR they ask for a video, or this kind of.
Yeah.
Do you see there some benefits or maybe some risks in case someone creates the avatar? I don't know, with the AI, and maybe you can tell if it's the person for a specific position. I mean, some benefits and challenges. Do you see that happening or not yet?
So yes and no. So
Yeah.
what I can definitely say is that you believe and I believe and we all believe that we know when we're talking to an AI. And I can say with absolute surety that we cannot anymore know when we are talking to an AI. So in our mind, it's the, like the annoying chatbots when you talk to the customer service of your bank or whatever, and it's super annoying. But I have seen interview programs where in the end the candidate had a telephone interview, a real candidate, and then he said, thank you to the recruiter for the interview, maybe we can meet face to face.
Yeah.
And the recruiter's like, oh, haha, I'm an AI. I don't actually
wow.
exist.
Okay.
And so you cannot know for sure anymore if you're talking to a person or if you're talking to an AI. And also on candidate side. So if you're the company, you're interviewing a candidate, and I'm sure you've seen the videos on social media where somebody has an actual video interview Zoom and they have like an AI
like right away
with
writing.
audio recording and then giving the perfect answers, and then they just read it out a little bit slower. You don't know. So there's a high risk. However, a few caveats. Number one is, I think people don't want to be interviewed by AI. It's not something that people want if they have a choice. So if you're a company and you are looking for an employee where there are many, many employees, that means you can have your pick. They will go through the process because they have to. If you're a company, you're looking for a very specific kind of profile where there are only very few profiles in the market, then you have to be charming to those profiles, and you cannot make them go through an AI process if they don't want. In general, the more candidates exist of the same profile, you can make them do what you want, and the fewer they are, the higher they go. They want to be treated in a certain way. And also, of course, then even if both parties are enhancing their interview
Responses.
performance and
Yeah, of
responses,
course.
at some point you gotta go to the office and show up on Monday morning, and if you can't do the thing, then you will be let go. However, for companies it's more risky because you could make an incorrect hiring decision. You hire the guy or the girl and they come and they can't do it. And you let them go again, but then you have spent your time, you have made an offer, maybe you have to pay severance money, you have to do the recruiting again, your management spend time, so opportunity costs are quite high.
Yeah. So in your case, for example, you're like fully, for example, you might have the interview with a person, maybe Zoom or video or something, but then at the end, maybe depending on the position, you still need to sit with the person and see that person is actually there, or depends?
We still do a lot of video interviews, simply also because for time efficiency, China is so big. If I were to travel to each single city where the candidates are located, and now people are even more remote, a lot of them, have left China, are in Europe, are in America, South America, and Asia, and they want to come back. It's not really feasible.
Yeah.
So.
What about in Vietnam and Thailand? Is any difference, or is still the same process?
The processes until now are still the same. So we are just seeing that tech is being included both on candidate side and company side. So what I've seen, for example, a lot of candidates now write their CV with AI. So basically AI is matching a job description which has certain keywords like education, industry, products, technological skills, whatever. And then the AI is writing the CV to be a good match.
Yeah.
But then I personally still think that recruiting, a few other things, also sales, where you need actual people-to-people contact. You still need to talk to the real person. But it's dangerous. I mean, nowadays you can't be sure. Have you seen a few weeks ago, the videos got so good. So I watched a video of an automotive show, and somebody went there. Some automotive show. Somebody went there and interviewed the automotive companies and the little models and the guests, and then in the end it was like all fake. This was all AI created. You cannot see it anymore. So there's a risk that's coming up. I don't know how big tech or governments are going to regulate it. I would hope that at some point we get another app which we could activate, and then you see if it's AI
a real one,
or
right?
not,
Like, but the way that maybe the video was created, written, that it was legit. Yeah, no, I see that happening as well, like especially in my industry, not especially in my industry actually, but it's just like research. Every industry is really like having like a big shift of things, right? Big shift. Do you see, or do you think that there's some big changes from what we have here in China or the East, or maybe literally more like China, versus how is it like viewed in the West, or the perceptions are a little bit similar?
Yeah, it's a good question. So I think we all know on some level that a big change is coming. But again, it's very human that we think, oh, I cannot be replaced. But if you look at the interplay between AI, so AI tends to replace knowledge workers. So AI has started to replace lawyers at some level. So I talked to a lawyer here the other day, and he said by now he gets like an AI, a ChatGPT or what have you contract, and the client only sends it to him, the real lawyer, for final checking. So they bill less hours, right? So it's not good for them. You see it in medical. Now you have like remote, long-distance surgeries. You see it in education also. So education is also taking a hit. But then, of course, it's translation, it's also finance-related stuff. It's content creation on social media, it's search engine optimization. ChatGPT does it perfectly fine now. So these are the knowledge-based jobs. So that is on the higher end. And then on the other hand, you have the jobs on the blue-collar workers, so people in the manufacturing, who take A and put it into B, and they've been replaced or are being replaced by machines and by automation. So I also wonder how this will play out if we have two big groups of people who will be replaced, and then they will be unemployed. Not all of them can reskill, not all of them will be able or willing to reskill. And then our social systems, and it doesn't matter if you're coming from a country with high social systems like Germany. I don't actually know what it's like in Mexico. Here in China, it's somewhere in the middle, but unemployment money you cannot survive on a long time, so you need to dip into your savings. And then if they're all unemployed, who's going to be the consumer? If I'm unemployed, I buy a lot less. So it's all very interconnected. It's very interesting.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think we have many opportunities, or we can turn them into opportunities,
Yes.
right? Like all of these potential caveats and threats. But yeah, I mean, definitely a topic that we can deep in more at some point. So I just wanted to, well, to let know the people here in the audience as well. Like, you have a YouTube channel. It's called China Perspectives,
Yes.
right? So actually, Miriam has been sharing a lot of this content. I just remember because you made, you filmed recently a video about AI, right?
Yes,
so
that's right.
You were touching
Yeah.
on some of these topics, right?
Yeah, it's a very, very technical video. So if you like numbers and statistics and facts and all
You'll
of that
find them
economic data, then that's a good video for you.
Well, that's great. That's great. What other kind of content do you have in your channel? China Perspectives. What else do you have?
So my channel is actually quite new. I only started it this year, 2025, in January. I started off with some HR topics because at that moment that was really a hot topic. But now I'm moving to macroeconomics, so I talk about different industries. I talked about the AI industry, the restaurant industry. I talked about SIPS. So if you don't know what SIPS is the Chinese version of SWIFT.
Oh, right. I saw that one. Yeah.
I talked about the
How do you-
digital yuan, how
Yeah.
China
Oh,
is
that's
using
interesting.
programmable money. And it's the first one, right? So digital euro, they are in discussion. And Europe is an amazing place, but they're not very fast. And then you have the digital US dollar, which is more for domestic business.
Yeah.
So it's very different actually. And so China is taking a lead. It's amazing. It's already used by more than 250 or so million people. So there are more people in China who use the digital yuan than there are people living in Western Europe. So it's already quite a lot.
As we have this information coming up soon, like, I mean, we, it's really exciting, like, to see all
Yeah.
of this change. Also, to say, like, it's a little bit different, the money that they would have, for example, linked to your WeChat or to your Alipay, right? So this is like the digital yuan.
Yes.
And I think it was part of a co-pilot as well in some different provinces around China, by the government trying to introduce this digitalized
Yes.
version of money, right? So I don't know, well, just before we finish, I don't know if you've seen, for example, when you go to these stores in the Family Mart, some other ones, like you pay with the WeChat or Alipay, but then you can also pay with the hand. Have you seen that?
I've seen the hand and I've seen the face,
Yeah,
but I'm
the face,
not
yes.
doing it though. I'm paying with my QR code. But
Yeah.
nobody has cash. Do you have cash?
I have as an emergency, I always have it in my backpack.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's just
Okay.
me trying to be like, without
Yeah.
any risk in case something happens. Yeah, you?
I have not on me. Not on me. I have 100 RMB
Yeah, me
a
too,
bill,
like 1 or
which
2.
I've had since before the pandemic.
Ah.
But it's in my wallet, and my wallet is not on me because I don't use
Yeah,
the
no,
wallet.
wallet.
I use
No,
my
yeah,
phone.
yeah, for sure.
So no, I don't have cash.
Yeah, exactly. Well, thank you very much, Miriam. I think it's very nice and, like very quick but insightful conversation on AI and how things are evolving.
Yeah,
So
thank
I
you,
appreciate
Antonio.
your time.
Really appreciate it.
The name of the channel, China Perspective, and where else can people find you?
People, the best way to find me is on YouTube, either with my name, Miriam Bickertsheim, or China Perspective. We'll be linking it in the comments below.
let's do.
And otherwise on LinkedIn if you want, also with my name, or on Chinese social media, also with my name.
Perfect. Thank you again, Miriam, and see you next time.
Thank you.
See you guys.
Bye, guys.
Bye, Ken.